this next award is going to Dr. Howard Mielke. Put lead poisoning on the map in New Orleans and many other places in the world. We thank him for constantly fighting to save our community from lead. We're also honoring his right-hand man, Mr. Powell. Some know him as Howard's right-hand man, but mostly he is a committed professional fighter for environmental justice for all. Mr. Mielke and Mr. Powell.
This is indeed a great honor. I thoroughly appreciate your honoring our work. I was born in 1941, not here, in St. Paul, Minnesota. And the precedent of previous speakers to tell you that I moved down here in 1981 or 1988. And the first thing we did is, in 1988, at Xavier University, we managed to get a grant to start mapping the city of New Orleans. And we mapped the amount of lead within the environment of the city. Then we connected that map up with the health data that we got from the state. And what we discovered was a devastating problem to the city of New Orleans. The lead poisoning problem starts early in life with children who are basically somewhere around 1.5 to 3 years old. Unfortunately, lead poisoning early on in life is now well understood to be connected with learning problems later on in life and with violence even beyond that. So lead poisoning of children is what we are trying to deal with in the city of New Orleans, and there has been an enormous amount of support and help in moving forward. Right now, we are working on a project to clean up child care centers, make them lead safe for children. That is a project that was funded by HUD. We also had an earlier project from the Greater New Orleans Foundation to do the same thing, child care centers. So we're working on child care centers. The city has taken on the project to do work on parks. So there are many parks, including the park close to this neighborhood, the Market Park. There are also elementary schools that need to be worked on. And these are major public properties that can be cleaned up very easily. We have extraordinary resources available to us. The Mississippi River is carrying around 300 tons of very clean soil by our doorstep every minute. And we are capturing a little bit of that soil and bringing it into the city and covering the contaminated soils of the city to make them safer areas for children. It's a very invisible problem, but it has extraordinary consequences for our city. If our children are being lead poisoned, it means our school systems are suffering. It means later on in life, these same individuals get involved in violence that otherwise they wouldn't be getting involved in if they hadn't been lead poisoned as children. So it's a serious problem. It's one we take seriously. I have had extraordinary support by Eric Powell, another person, Chris Gonzalez, who couldn't make it today. We have all worked together, and we're the city little by little, one property at a time. I wish I had even 1/20th of 1 year's salary of Drew Brees. We could have made a huge difference. You might provide some of that. We're going to work on it. Anyway, thank you so much.
Each of the documents is basically covered everything without researching details. We're just out there trying to improve the environment any type of way that we can. And we care about the kids and we love the kids. I was born and raised here. I'm a senior graduate. And I'm just all about love and about teaching others how to love and how to teach everybody about the effects of the environment. Dr. Mielke basically just covered everything. And basically that's it. Dr. Mielke.
Next award is being presented to someone who has been with us since the beginning. He never shies away from what our organization needs to ask him to do, ask him to find out, and ask him to come and join us. I've often wondered how he stays so sane. But today I'm finding out that his wife is a yoga instructor. So maybe that helps. We're presenting this to Attorney David Capasso.
Wow. Again, thank you. This has been just so stunning. Again, the people in this room, again, it's like you almost get a little that this is your life that we all have seen. And again, I rarely get a chance to speak unless it's in front of a jury. I'm a trial lawyer. Most of the time I get 2 minutes or a half. My wife doesn't even give me a minute. But I definitely am looking forward to telling you a few things. First of all, I'm proud that I'm still working with the executive director of the United Labor Union's Local 100, Sister Rosa Hines, and that really is the woman. She works for a salary that I couldn't continue to work for. I mean, that's why I went to law school. And the bad news is that I still have some law loans. President Obama has passed a student with this horrible Congress. We actually got it through. My loan payments went from $900 a month to $100 a month. That is real. So that's happened to me. There's just thousands of other people that have gotten that. That's just one of the benefits. Again, we sometimes have so much work we're doing. A lot of people say you can't play politics. But if I want to honor the President of the United States for some of the things that he's doing with programs, I will. And there's sometimes that I may even criticize him, but he's coming here July 25th, and I want to see some A Community Voice members at that meeting to see President Obama. No matter what that is. I want to honor Braddock and Derek. And again, these two guys, unselfish, tell us what to do when we have to. And I've known Derek only a short time, just came out of nowhere. He didn't want to tell you a little modest about his, he's been fighting since before the Vietnam War. They said the Vietnam War was a good thing. He said, hell no. And he was one of the people that were willing to go to jail, like Wayne Rathke was willing to go to jail to stop the Vietnam War. And we're still seeing a lot of people who want to change that history of that war was not a big deal, whatever. You know, I mean, and it bothers me that during that time where I came from New York, that it was real. And I remember the first time activist in my life, May 4th, 1970. I didn't remember Dr. King being killed. I didn't remember anything about Kennedy. I was only 2 years old and I'm 51. But yeah, thanks to my wife. But I remember May 4th, 1970, the same year that 841 was founded. And that was the day that all military troops went on Kent State's campus to shoot students because they were speaking out for issues like 841, like 8 Community Voice, fighting back. And when I saw that, my dad cried and said, I'm going to take you to Canada if I have to, if you have to go to the war. That hit me brother, there are moments in your life where you know that you're against wars. And again, I'm looking forward to the fact that this president and we continue our party. I'm a Democrat, I just ran for Democrat, that we want to end wars and focus money on economic and social justice, focus money on education, housing, jobs. I mean, so wasting the amount of money on military, but Brad, I was going to go into activist stuff at the end of the Vietnam War, and then I saw a group at a college called Acorn. And they said, fight Reagan, get him out of office. I saw that ad in New York City, fight Reagan, get him out of office. I said, let me check this out. Now, I'd gone to high school, the same high school as Al Sharpton in Brooklyn, New York. So, Al Sharpton, Tilden High School. Just an amazing place. And I was into socialism, but I didn't know one thing about organizing. And I met some incredible people that were organizing this bombed-out office in Brooklyn, New York, that didn't really have any money to do anything, but they organized people in thousands, and pretty much Acorn became one of the largest community organizations in the United States fighting for low-income people. And then I saw that there were people that were organizing workers. And that really fascinated me, the hotel fight that we had here. I actually got here when it was too late, when the company decided at several hotels, including the Hyatt, to kill the union with some of their tactics like they do. And every day, make no mistake about it, every one of those hotels downtown, every day, they're doing worker discrimination on the job. The worker environment is hostile. If you think about a union, you're fired. And that's what, Rosa, we do every day. Sanitation workers, we're working on getting them dignity, a union. So again, I say to you, next time you call the A Community Boys office, tell us if you know anybody in your union in your family. Tell us the name of your church. Tell us the name of your community group. And that's the kind of list that we're doing now, and the work that I'm proud of, thanks to Beth Butler, who actually is the reason I came to New Orleans. I think I wanted to work with Wade and Beth. And I said, if I have to live in the God-forsaken South, I might as well live in New Orleans, Louisiana. Because this place is a little different than Little Rock, Pine Bluff, Memphis, Austin. I got sent by so many places. I was like, I guess, like the Marines of Acorn. But I said, this is the place. And I went to Loyola Law School. Well, what an incredible place. And now social justice is like ringing through the halls. Their 100th anniversary. A lot of people don't know that in the 60s they had priests that organized unions. Where are those priests today? They're coming out. A lot of the good priests and the good workers like Todd Costanza, who probably would have been a priest if he, whatever, but he is a priest in my mind, that now they're saying, let's organize again. He was the one out of his mouth talking about organize. I was touched. But all the unions are saying, bring in workers for training. All the community groups are saying, if there's jobs, we'll let you know. And now A Community Voice is finding out that there are federal jobs. Even Obama slips a little. There are contractors that are not abiding by the law. They're not hiring women and minorities. They're not hiring people from our state. So we have to keep an eye still, even on the Obama administration, because they sometimes don't get it right. And one of the things on November 7th after his re-election is going to be that I want Obama to say out loud, every job, every worker has a right to organize and not be threatened with firing, not be threatened by organizing a working union. This is America's right. The last place is the workplace. And A Community Voice has stepped over and said, we're not just doing communities, we're doing unions. And I thank you for the work. I'm looking forward to this year. And the Nationally Occupy the Vote is their slogan. And so our slogan, again, is stop the vote. Mr. King at the NLAC, that's their message. I think we're coming together like never before. Thank you.